But now we're going to talk about something we don't often talk about, and it's cryptocurrency, because there's a big thing going on in Las Vegas, a big sort of exhibition, if you like, a big conference in Vegas. It's the Bitcoin 2025 conference. Nigel Farage has gone over there. He's been speaking at the event. Also, JD Vance is there as well. Let's have a quick listen to it.
And what we're saying is bring crypto and digital assets in from the cold. Have a capital gains rate of 10%. And that means, if taxes are reasonable, people will pay them. We're going to have a Bitcoin digital reserve in the Bank of England. And we are going to pass legislation that says that no bank can close your account because you're trading in legal crypto or digital products.
No more debanking, ladies and gentlemen.
So yeah, we are taking it very, very seriously. And it's really interesting. I mean, 7 million people in Britain have got crypto assets. 1 in 4 people under 30 have got crypto assets. And yet our outdated Labour and Conservative governments have done nothing in this space at all. And what I want to do when we win the next election is bring us into the 21st century. We are going to launch in Britain a crypto revolution. We're going to make London one of the major trading centres of the world. We're deadly serious, and here it is.
Nigel Farage talking there about something which I think a lot of people in this country are still a little bit unsure about. Kate Beaucherel is here, blockchain and emerging tech consultant. Kate, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike.
This is a quite sort of revolutionary idea from Farage, but I mean, there's going to be a lot of people listening to this and watching this morning who are going to go, I don't really understand cryptocurrency. I don't really understand what blockchain is. I don't really know what it all means. Can you? I know this is probably a really hard question for you to answer, but can you sort of sum it all up in about like 3 minutes?
Oh, this is the classic 101. Everybody asks this. So, so Bitcoin was the very first cryptocurrency, and it grew out of an idea that you could have payments between people that didn't involve a bank.
Right.
So how do you do that? Because I could send you a PDF of a fiver and I could copy it multiple times and send it to other people, and that's not got any control at all. So you need somebody or something to keep the ledger of, I've sent Mike £5.
Right.
And so what blockchain did was that this is the ledger that sits underneath Bitcoin, and it puts all the transactions into a block like a page of a ledger.
Right.
And then it sums them up at the end and flips over the page, and you can't go back and change anything.
Okay.
So that gave us the first time we ever had a peer-to-peer payment. So it was a really, really interesting invention, and it's kind of taken off, hasn't it?
Well, it has, but of course, what you see, what I read about anyway, is that sometimes the price of a particular Bitcoin or a meme coin suddenly soars, and everybody buys into it, and then suddenly somebody starts selling it, and it all drops down again. I mean, we've heard these stories about Elon Musk and Donald Trump, setting up their own Bitcoin and selling it, or then buying it and then selling it again. And I mean, it doesn't give people, I don't think anyway, traditionally, the feeling that it's particularly stable.
Yeah, there's lots of different types of cryptocurrency. So that's the first thing. So Bitcoin itself is just sort of like steady as you go. It's a bit like Stephenson's rocket. It was the very first thing, and it's a little coal-powered thing that trundles along at very, very slow speeds. And there's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin. So it's actually genuinely a really valuable asset.
Right.
And that's kind of why the US is talking about a sovereign Bitcoin reserve. You heard that on the clip around a sovereign reserve, and we're seeing that being considered in Czechia and Switzerland and Sweden and all sorts of places. Because if you look at all the assets in the world, gold is the most valuable asset. Bitcoin's number 6, silver's number 8.
Wow.
So Bitcoin's kind of a special case, and it does make sense to think about it as a strategic reserve if you're already holding gold and silver.
Yes, of course.
So that's one side of it. And then there's lots of other cryptocurrencies as well, and they all have different purposes. So you've seen those meme coins, and some of them are built for communities, and some of them are scams.
Yeah.
And the trouble is, where there's value, there's going to be scammers. That's one of the reasons why we have a lot of strict regulation around crypto. And so the FCA actually obviously classes it as a high-risk investment, because you can get burned really badly with this early volatile asset.
And so if
you
there
have to
was,
be
I mean,
careful with it.
how would, if what Nigel Farage says he wants to do is to make London a sort of, a crypto hub, if you like, of some kind or other in the world, would there have to be more regulation then or less?
He's not the first person to say that. I think Rishi Sunak said that in 2022, and I think I've heard it before as well.
Yeah.
We need more regulation, but actually this is already coming through. So at the moment, the regulations are a little bit sort of nervous, and I think there's only been 51 crypto companies actually authorised in 5 years by the FCA.
Yeah.
But that's out of nearly 400 applications as well. But there's a new regime coming through, so there's new paperwork coming out from the Treasury, from the FCA, literally in the last week or so, to try and lift that innovation, to try and bring crypto companies into the UK and give them a friendly place to build their platforms and
how does it work
their businesses.
I mean, he says he wants to reduce the tax to 10% from 24%. Is there tax on crypto in America?
There's tax on crypto absolutely everywhere, and I'm here to tell you, pay your taxes. Around about, I think the estimate is sort of 80%, maybe more, of crypto isn't actually declared.
Right.
But we've got new tax regimes coming in 1st of January, which is the OECD's crypto asset reporting framework. So all the exchanges, all of the providers are going to have to provide transaction information and names and addresses.
And presumably, if you've gone through blockchain, then that's pretty much easy for the tax authorities to check, isn't it? Or is it too much of it?
Oh no! You can follow transactions. Literally, you can follow them back to people in the real world.
And always. Is that the only way you can do it? That's the only way you can do business is through blockchain.
So a cryptocurrency lives on a blockchain. It's part of the software.
Yeah. Okay.
So all the movements of a cryptocurrency between people, you can actually see those transactions. You could pop one up on your browser right now and you'll be able to see them.
Yeah, because I mean the other thing we hear a lot about is that it's used quite often by a lot of criminal entities and criminal individuals as well, who can move money or exchange money. I mean, I've been told, and I've not actually seen one, but that there are places in South London where you can go and put cash into a machine and get crypto out.
I don't think there's any in the UK because they're not actually authorised. They were all kicked out in about 3 years ago. But you see them all over the world. Bitcoin ATMs.
That's like saying there's no drugs because they're illegal, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean there may still be some machines kicking around, but they're not regulated.
Right. So I mean, but the criminal aspect of it, I suppose, is quite big, though, isn't it? I mean,
no, it's actually remarkably small. So there's a company called Chainalysis that does a lot of forensics and sort of follows all of these things, and actual crypto native stuff like sort of fraud that goes around within the crypto. It's about 0.2% of all of the transactions. I mean that doesn't count people who are sort of maybe using crypto for drug dealing and ransomware and so on. But it's actually small beer. Most of the transactions, I mean, there's a type of cryptocurrency called a stable coin, and they're pegged to the value of something like the dollar or the euro, and the amount of stable coin transactions last year was more than Visa and MasterCard combined.
So if my, say, business that I'm running was offered by some client or other to be paid in Bitcoin, they said to me, look, we can't pay you in real money, we'll pay you in Bitcoin. What would that mean for me as a businessman? What can I do with that? Can I change it in? Can I put it into my bank account? Can I change it into cash? What do I do?
Yeah, it's fairly straightforward to do. So you'd probably use a service that will. You could even use a service that will do an invoice for you in pounds, and they can pay it in Bitcoin, and you get the pounds back.
Okay.
You can transfer the money into your. You can convert the money through an exchange into your business. The one thing you've got to be really careful of when you're dealing with cryptocurrency, unless it's a stable coin, is that the value will change. So you might go, I've invoiced £1,000 and I've been sent £1,000 worth of name a cryptocurrency, and then the value drops and suddenly you've only got 500 and you've still got to pay your taxes on it. So you've got to be really careful about that.
And would you have to pay the taxes on the amount that you thought it was as opposed to what it is now?
Yeah, it's literally at the point at which the transaction happens. How much was it worth?
Right.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, in terms of having it as an investment or something like that, it doesn't really sound like there's a particularly sound one.
It is a high-risk investment for the FCA. There's a lot of people that do invest in cryptocurrencies, but it is very complex. It is very risky.
Yeah. I feel as though I know a little bit more now than I did, but I'm still a bit baffled, to be honest. I don't know if that's the usual answer, but this is
takes a little while to get your head around it.
Very helpful. Thank you, Kate Bosherell, blockchain and emerging tech consultant. Yeah, well, listen, I mean, what I do know is that a lot of young people that I talk to know a lot more about Bitcoin than I do, and they seem to know an awful lot more about what's good and what's bad about it as well. So maybe Nigel Farage is onto something. Maybe it is the kind of currency of the future.